Okay, here we go. Hi guys, you there? Everyone there? Hello. Yep, great. Here we go. What a huge move. It was just a liquidity grab on the downside from inflation numbers yesterday. Fill some orders, then takes off to the upside. Huge move, yet again. Let's talk about it. Obviously, open auction to start with in the morning. Little bit of a sweep up in here. Obviously, this thing's on an upward trajectory, which is pretty solid. Okay, we can see that all since Trump came into office and that weekend where he said that he was threatening with tariffs. Okay, this thing has just been pumping to the upside. So this really, selling this is do not sell it until we get definite confirmation. As per Dow theory, we remember rule number 6 out of Dow says do not, a trend will stay intact until it gives a definite reversal signal. Okay, going back over here, coming into those inflation numbers, we know that it was highly likely we were going to get an open auction style of the open. Okay, and that's saying true. It did exactly the same thing on Friday with NFP, and therefore there was a little bit of a sweep in there. So sell the tops, buy the bottoms. There's plenty of signals in there. When we're going sideways like this, VWAP's all sideways, we know that we're in open auction. So therefore VWAP will tend to kind of not really be reactive the way that we're used to it when we're on a big move. Okay, so therefore selling those tops and buying those bottoms, we've got the sweep in there. We knew that this was all over here. Now if you didn't do that, if you're sitting on your hands, which obviously I wasn't here for that, but because I had my son's birthday, but there's all your lows in there. As soon as it touches this 200, then off we go for the upside. Okay, we can tell by a little bit of a sweep in there, but then it goes really, look how quiet it went right into the inflation numbers. Okay, now I did take a trade. I took a trade somewhere around about here, short, just as looking for I think it was 36. Got knocked out at 36, so it came in a little bit lower. Just Kevin, mute your microphone please, or I'll kick you off. Thank you. All right, so therefore, and I was probably being a little bit too cheeky here. See that 80 level in there? I was going for the 80 level. Maybe I should have gone for 22,000. 22,000 is humongous level. That's why we've bounced here and just taken it straight back to the upside. Okay, clearly I was asleep. Missed it by literally my target by the spread, and it's turned around and stopped me out. So I was pretty annoyed with that, but that's just the way the cookie crumbles. That was minus 35 or 36. Okay, so anyway, now
Richard,
just hold on, man. Let me finish talking, man. Just hold your question for a second because I'm probably going to answer it. All right, now what am I doing today? Okay, am I sitting here right now getting really angry and pissed off at the world and all those sorts of things? No, I'm completely relaxed. I'm completely calm, completely centered with what's going to happen today, because today is a completely different ball game to what happened yesterday. All right. So therefore, as traders, we need to have very short memories about the day before. Okay, if we know that we've got positive edge, we know that we can control our risk and let our winners run. Therefore, then we should just continually trade, just keep trading, like having the edge of the house. Okay, does that make sense? Did I answer your question there, Attila?
No, not
Okay,
really,
oh,
but
so
it was a good
okay,
stuff.
go
Good
ahead.
stuff.
What's your question?
Just wanted to ask, that losing trade.
Just
What made you go for the 2190 980
nine
instead
eight.
of the
Well, because
22,000?
we've got good question, right? Because we usually have the 20 and the 80 levels. Okay, you can see it came pretty close to it. Okay, now
Yeah.
I just chose it. Okay, there was necessarily no real reason for it. You know, probably my bad on this one, because there's your 200 MA on the 15-minute chart sitting there, right? So I should have been in front of it. Okay, so my bad. I probably wasn't. I didn't look at that, and I've suffered because of it. Okay, so
Yeah.
okay, all right. So next, let's go on to today.
I was just wondering how mine overrode the
It
major
didn't. It didn't. It
22,000
was
level in
just,
favor of
mate.
the.
You've just got to make a decision. Okay. I thought it was going
Right.
to just
Okay.
absolutely come all the way back to 20, like not to 22, even sub like even 21.8. I thought it would come all the way back there, because we've just been an upward tear all the way up, right? So it was up here. We're up at a upper trend line up in here. So there was plenty of channel sitting there as well. So I thought this would come deeper, okay, and it didn't. So whatever, move on. Okay, I'm not gonna sit here and sook about it. But today, okay, we've come up into the 400 mark, okay, and this popped through to FDAX was showing the 500 level, okay, so that 500 level on FDAX was pretty significant. I took a pre-market trade short on there, looking for VWAP, or looking for the middle of this liquidity zone, and did not work, so I got stopped out there. I came in again around about here looking for the same thing, and it still didn't do it. Probably because that VWAP, it's not probably, it's because that VWAP was in the way, okay? I've got two BEs in a row, okay? That could have been my day done just on those two, but then as that VWAP touched, gave me a signal, gave me like this wick in here. I've turned it over and gone long around about here, I think, about there, okay? And I've gone for about 35 or 36 in there. So I might have come in a bit later up here and then got into the 35 level. Yeah, about there. That's it. So 35 in there. So I'm plus 35. So my day today is BE. Let me move this. BE. Whoops. BE and plus 35. Okay, so we'll just leave it there. That's that. And I've already posted that one up. All right. We've hit the 80 level again. There's your 80 up there. That would have been ideal to exit that long trade up here. That could probably closer to 50, but then I just took it off because I knew I was starting, or we're coming into the actual open. We've got 5 minutes to go. Coming back into VWAP. Do we have the sellers in here? We've got liquidity zone sitting in here with the VWAP, so just be careful of that. Let's wait for VWAP to be broken before we even think about going for the downside moves, okay? But this might be even a buy opportunity sitting right in here, right now, okay? There's your buy opportunity. If you're keen for it, okay? I'll let you guys make your decisions, because I'm trying to get you guys to be independent traders, not just copy what I'm doing, okay? All right. All right, so let's sit tight and wait for the open in 4 minutes. There's SR sitting in here. There's SR sitting right there. Stick our lot of volume being swapped over there. is a buy zone right there, guys. Did anybody take that as a buy? There's plenty of other.
Yeah, I did.
Yep.
I'm still.
Who's? Yeah, I did. Who said that?
Cam.
Thanks, Cam. Now this thing is like on an absolute rocket to the upside. Okay, so just be aware of that. I'll be very careful about taking shorts until we get proper confirmation. We've got 22,500 sitting right here. Okay. It's already gone past 22,500 on FDAX. Gap, if you do want to consider that gap, there is gap that's still here. So there's that needs to be filled up. That needs to be filled in here. Okay. On just this daily, on the session gap I'm talking about. Okay, so Cam, you've gone long off this pseudo close to VWAP. Let's just check against our FDAX on VWAP. Where's that? It has hit it on 22.5, so that's a big buy on FDAX and FDXM, so they'll be both reflecting the same thing. Okay, GR40. Yep, kind of the same sort of story. And yeah, same story on the Pepperstone OTC or Pepperstone's LPs. LP meaning liquidity provider. I spoke about that 2 nights ago, how the broking, OTC broking or market maker broking works. Hopefully, Nigel, do you understand what I just said? Oh, Nigel's not there. He's not listening. Yep, cool. Thanks, Nigel. Okay, very good trade in there, Cam. Well done, mate. We're just about to open, right? So this can flick pretty hard, okay? So just be aware of that. We're open. Look at this. It's a huge battle going on. Doesn't know what it wants to do. If you said to me, where are we? February. In February, where's February? Hold on. In February 24, if you said to me, here's the 20, what is it? We're close, where? Somewhere around here, right? Here we go, 13th of February there. We were sitting at almost about 17k. If you said to me then, 1 year ago, that we would be at 22,500, I would have probably laughed at you. Look at it. It's a machine. It's just proof in the pudding that you just have no idea what's going to happen. Okay, so it comes down to the theory or Presidento saying trade what you see, not what you think. Very important. Very, very important. Anyway, let's see what it's going to do. I'm flat.
I've stopped just then.
Okay. We might be on for a bit of a retrace back to 23. It might have to, it's going to want to maybe fill up in here. So that VWAP is still a play. Okay, so that's still long. We're not done with that yet. We haven't got a convincing break of it yet. Quick squiz at news. Clearly, we've increased in the inflation numbers by 0.1. So the trajectory of the inflation year on year is going back to the upside. So which will prompt. Can somebody answer this question for me? What will the US rates most likely do? We did touch on this the other day. Somebody want to say it?
Sorry, increase.
Increase?
Increase rates?
I would probably be leaning toward just holding rates. Okay, I'm a holder. Okay, so see how that has not quite finished their cam, right? So remember that VWAP's just an area. We just got to take in consideration SR liquidity zone. So in here it's still a buy, right? So if we've got our stop, and this is common problem with a lot of traders, is that they go and bring their stop in too tight too soon. Yep. Okay. Who agrees with me on that? Just put a yes into the.
I do.
You do? Cool. All right. Well, I took another one in here.
But also, Richard,
Yes, buddy.
this time next year, DE30 is going to be at 27,000.
Okay, buddy. 27. That's nothing, man. Anyway, I took about 17 out of that one just as a little scalp. Okay. No, I correct myself. I took 13 out of it off the VWAP. Sorry, 13. $13.8, 14, but I'm going to call it 13 anyway. All right. But that's still a buy in here. That's still buy zone. Okay. It's still buy until we get a convincing break of it. But we remember what you talk about first touch. First touch has already happened. Let me just show you what I've done here. I came in down here, took out 13. There we go. That was my trade in there. Pretty tight. Looks like it does want to have it looks like it wants to go to the downside, right? There's the loss on the on this downside leg. That's nice. That's 50%. All of those ducks are lining up. I'll quickly just take a photo of this for you. Sorry guys. Because I'm running OBS as well. It's my computer's slow. because I'm recording this session. I don't necessarily like recording sessions because it just slows my computer down because I've got too many applications going at the same time. So it does look like it wants to push hard to the downside because it just needs a rest. I mean, this thing's just been blasting for way too long. Looks like there's a lot of profit takers. Contrarians are stepping in. Bit of a wick in there, so let's just be mindful that even if that is a downside move, this sideways in here, this doji will act as a support level in there, and we could call, you know, on a wider time frame there may be a block of some sort. Okay, so just be aware of that. Okay, so that's convincingly breaking this VWAP. I'm not interested in selling it in here. I'm definitely not interested in doing that. That'll be a liquidity zone in there, does it say? See a bit of a node going on there. See whether it can break it or not. .50 MA sitting up in here as well on a 15. Let's see if we can break this. If we can break this in here, then we're on for the downside. Let's see whether we can get it or not. If anybody is a volume player, then that is a buy in there. Just remember our rules though. Stick with our rules and we'll be fine. Don't try and do everything at once. This is why we've got to test our rules, test everything, get our own statistics on whatever our rules are, may be at the time, and then we go from there. So there's a lot of support sitting in around here with this blue box. Just be careful of that. What you don't want to be doing is selling just because that's a big wick in there, selling that when you forget about all of this in here. Wait for the retrace and then sell, right? Always buy, sell on pullbacks. Breakouts for me. Some people love breakouts. Cool, no worries. Go ahead. Knock yourself out. But for me, the retrace or the pullback is going to get you the best risk to reward. But unfortunately, sometimes you are going to miss some, pretty nice areas where you're going to be able to Oh, just some nice moves. So, but you've got to be able to not get FOMO and just let that move happen, and just wait for your turn. Okay, so we've got that support there on the 15, sitting in there. If you can see it, hopefully you can see it. It's all sitting in there, all of that, and they're coming into that 50 as well. Remember that when we're on big tears like this to the upside, like this, it's not going to work its way. It's not going to work so hard to get all the way up here just to then turn over and go all the way back. Sometimes it does happen like that, but not all the time. Did anybody buy in along here? Nope. Okay, thanks, Cam. But everybody's following what I'm talking about? Please give me a yes in the chat. Okay, thanks, guys. Good to see you, Tristan. You're back again. All right. First 15-minute candles complete. Bit of a fair value gap sitting in here that might need to get absorbed, coming back up to the underside of the VWAP. Gents, I'll be back in 1 second. Okay, so, sorry, just had to run off to the bathroom. We did have a look at the underside of VWAP in there. There was potentially an opportunity to short that for a little bit out of there, but we have, we have come into this liquidity zone, so it's going to really struggle to get through here. There is an opportunity there. I've taken a short from up here, okay? I've taken a short from 405, okay? And let's just see how that pans out. And my stop is just above here now, so if this doesn't pop down, then I'm just going to take a tiny loss on it. It looks like it's struggling quite a bit. We are on the underside of the 400 handle on DE30, which is not necessarily the most significant thing, because we are using, we should be referencing DAX a little bit further. Anyway, so let me just show you what the short sell, and I've got a target around about here, 25 on it. Just about to get exited. Should be good, and I've got a 12-point stop on it. Okay, there we go. I'm out, plus 25. There we go. Anybody else take the retest of VWAP for for a little scalp. This may keep running now. Okay. If you are in it and you do want to hold it, if this does pop this level here, then we're definitely on for much further run, a bigger run. So there she goes. Let's see whether that actually pops right through or not. Anybody else take the VWAP play? I'm pretty happy with what's going on for me tonight, so I'm going to start being, unless I get a really clear signal, then I'm just going to stay conservative on this. $73. There she goes. Worth holding those ones sometimes. I've taken mine out at 25, but that could have very easily been 50. Yeah, 50, 60 points in there. Nice candle, rounding candlestick formation in there. Might be wanting to look at this 312. 320 might be the next stop. We've got the 200 coming up in here, so next stop will be there. I'm going to sit tight for now. Anybody take the shorts? If you didn't, to say no, I didn't as well, so I know that you can actually hear me. Okay, anybody want me to talk about anything? Any questions, guys? Any topic while I'm here? All right, well, if you haven't taken the short in there, then that liquidity did push it back to the upside, but then we had that underside of VWAP going on. We've had a shift to POC, point of controls come back down here, but it is quite spread still, okay? So we've only started from, you know, the soft open at 6 o'clock. So that POC, you know, has moved all the way up and now it's moved all the way down. So it's, you know, we can see where the nodes are though, okay? So nodes forming there, it's a little node in here, bigger node up here. But if this is on the downside, we might see back up into here for further downside if it's going to do it. But we need to remember that our momentum, is still very aggressive on the upside, okay? But after yesterday's run on inflation, I just need to have a breather, okay? Just give yourself a little bit of insight as well. There is a big order block sitting right there, okay? There's an order block. And we've already identified the last one, which was up in here, okay? You can argue with me as well if you want to that that's a block in there as well, okay? That's a reasonable argument. But there's a lot of there's gaps all the way up that may need to get filled. Let's go to the 1 hour chart to just have a look at all of these. We'll see all these gaps need to be filled up, at least down to here. Give you a 50%. If we're looking on fib traders from there, whoops, fib traders here to here, that would be 236 sitting there. 382 will fill up, come into this order block just sitting in there. That'll be a good buy zone right there at 22,300. There's a handle there as well, so good convergence.
You're on mute, Richard.
Sorry, say again. Sorry guys, I was talking. Thank you for letting me know there, that one. Convergence in here, order block sitting in there. Okay, so order block in there, 382 plus the 300 handle sitting in there as well. So if this comes down into here, that'll be a great buy zone right there on that 1 hour chart, if you guys can see that. Okay. Right in there. Looks good. But what I was saying is a lot of fair value gaps that need to be filled up as well. But this is a bearish engulfing. If this does close to the downside in the next half hour, then we might see further downside moves. So this is starting to look that we are in a corrective type of movement because we have broken the or change of character is going on. Fractal lows have been broken as well, so that is still short. I can't see why we can't get this to 300. But as you can see, there was that gap. There was the gap that I spoke about earlier. Gap from here to there. That's being filled up. Okay. That session gap. Okay, anybody want me to talk about anything? Any questions so far? Okay, Rambear, welcome. Welcome to the room, mate. Welcome aboard. We start at 6:45 p.m. Right, with DAX trading and live trading, mate. Just for FYI.
Thanks, Richard. Thank you very much, Richard. I'm just in Queensland, so I just thought like that's 6:45 for Queensland. So yes.
Yep. It's 6:45 AEDT, so daylight savings time.
Got it. No, got it. I'll keep in mind. Yeah.
Yep.
Thank you very much.
You'll get used to it, pal.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
I'm going to wait for another retrace before I start doing anything short. I'm just going to be patient, wait for this to unfold a little bit further. But yeah, let's go back to the 15-minute chart on here. Saying earlier, so there is an order block sitting there. And we've identified this one up here. So this 382 and that block and that 300 handle looks really nice, and we've obviously got the 200 on 5 minute coming through there as well. So that's going to be a very interesting zone. I'm just going to mark it just right there and mark that. So if we come in here, that's going to be not bad to buy it. I probably took my short off a little bit too early on this one, but I made a commitment to what I wanted to do and I stuck with it. What I don't want to be doing right now is getting into a bad behavior where I'm going to get pissed off and then want to chase this, right? Getting FOMO, got to recognize, okay, now I'm feeling that I'm missing out. That's time to take your hand off the mouse. Whenever you get a feeling, that means you're in the wrong space to be trading. Attila, hear me? We leave all the rest of this on the table for everybody else. Plenty to go around. Yeah, you can place a limit order. Yep, if you want to place a limit order now. But, you know, I don't necessarily want to place a limit order when it's like this, right? Because then if I walk away and I leave the limit order on and I'm not watching it, I don't know what's going to do, right? So it's best just to let it do its thing, and then we put the limit order. You know, when we see it coming back up into it, then we just put a limit order in then when we can see it coming up and we're still sitting there watching it, right? It's if we wait for, you know, put a limit order here, let's say, you know, on anticipation the VWAP will come down into here as well. It's probably just a little bit too far away, Cam. Yeah, it's a bit too far away, so let's just chill out. I mean, everybody's got their own preference around placing it and where they place it and why they place it and how long they place it for and all those sorts of things. Yeah. And like we were talking with Chris about the other day, so remember, let's just remember this. We've got to always remember this bit. Losers will let me just rewrite that so it makes better sense. Probably about 3 times, minimum of 3 times longer. Is that what we worked out the other day, yesterday, or the day before, Chris? Four times longer?
I was actually more like 4 to 5.
5 times?
Well, mine was just over 4, but
Okay, let's call it 5 times, just so that we could just get used to that, right? Everybody's different. That's why you need to have your own statistics, right? But you might want to start thinking about this and collecting your own data. 5x longer than winners will take 5x longer than your losers on average. Okay. Right. So if you're going to get stopped, you know about it pretty quickly. If you're going to get a nice big winner, fortunately, you've got to sit there. And I spoke to Attila about this the other day, and Tom Hugard, everybody who's semi-experienced should read it. Okay? If you're brand new in this game, don't bother reading it right now. We've got to get your technique and your experience level up. But if you've been with me for 3 months or longer, you should have read Tom Hugard's book by now. Okay? Which he states in there, get comfortable with being uncomfortable. Okay? Get comfortable with being uncomfortable. Because the more you're uncomfortable and the more you can control doing something with your mouse, fiddling with stuff, i.e. exiting too early or moving a stop in too soon, if you're feeling uncomfortable, it's time for you to take your hand off the mouse as well. Yep. Yeah, keep you in that calm environment. No, fair value gaps need to be, well, it depends, okay? Fair value gap is kind of wants to fill up, right? It needs to get price in there. So in a way, yes, but it's not really support resistance. It's just grabbing more liquidity. I guess that's a way of saying it. I will be doing fair value gaps on, when is it? On 22nd. Here we go. Fair value gaps and order blocks. I'm going to be talking about this on the 22nd of February on a Saturday. Okay, so if you're not in it, come along. I will be recording it though, but I do like people to actually turn up to it because then you can ask questions as we go. All right, so I'm putting together. I've got it all together for you for that. Okay, two topics that kind of go hand in hand. But these are all kind of ICT type, smart money concept stuff. It's just a fad. These order blocks especially, these are just another name for other different things, right? If you've already done a course, you should already know what this means. Fair value gaps is, place your or, Fibonacci 618 to 382, okay? Order blocks is just SR. Or similar type thing, right? A couple of little nuances in there that will be new though for you, okay? Right, in here. Yeah, my computer's getting slow because I'm doing OBS at the same time. I might stop the record. Announcements, guys. Whenever I do something, it's in announcements. Here we go. I had it up since the 23rd of January. I will send out another email soon, though. Okay. Right. What I'm going to do is I'm going to stop this record on OBS because it's slowing my computer down too much.